What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're back with the weekly content roundup for Destiny 2 this week, but it's quite a different video to our typical weekly reset, as lots of content is changing for Witch Queen. And so in this video we're going to talk about the launch timeframe for the expansion, server downtime and preloads, so we'll cover just about everything worth knowing for getting into the expansion. Then we'll cover some of the new content going into the DLC, including new rewards and changes to the playlist and activity content that we normally cover in weekly resets, including Nightfalls, weapons, shifting pinnacle rewards, rituals, lost sectors, and much more. So as always, I hope you all enjoy the video. But before we get into it guys, this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends, the free mobile game that you may have heard about, and it's available to play for anyone right now on mobile and PC. Raid comes with more than 600 epic champions to pick from, with unique factions, lore, and lots of attributes which can be upgraded to suit your combat style when tackling bosses, dungeons, or PvP arena matches. And champions in Raid are super varied. One of my favorites is Elder Skarg, who's really strong at applying HP burn on enemies and stripping their buffs, but his secondary skill rips through targets and can land extra attacks up to 6 in total, with a chance of adding burn and vulnerability to the enemy team. But I've also had a lot of fun with Abbess, who's one of the stronger PvP champions in the game. With high crit rate and attack power, she hits really hard, but can also pass debuffs onto enemy targets, with additional AoE effects to decrease enemy defense and deal serious damage to champions. And even better, loads of these champions can be earned in-game, where we can spend shards at the portal to acquire new champions, and the tavern to do various upgrades with loads of different combat mechanics to play around with. And so Raid rewards playtime really well, and there are plenty of in-game events, such as an upcoming Valentine's event with a new legendary champion. And so if you want a huge head start, there's never been a better time to jump in, and by following the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on screen, new players get a free starter pack worth almost $30, which includes a free champion, Tayroll, as well as 200,000 silver, an XP boost, an energy refill, and an ancient shard so you can summon an additional champion. And these rewards will be available in your inbox in-game for the next 30 days. So be sure to check out Raid Shadow Legends by clicking the link below. Now though, let's get into Destiny 2 and Witch Queen content for this week. And initially it's worth touching on the release schedule for the expansion. And Bungie say D2 will undergo scheduled downtime from 7 PM PST, which is 3 AM UTC on February 21st, and that'll run up until 9 AM PST, which is 1700 UTC on February 22nd. And on February 21st at 9 PM, which is 5 AM UTC, the preload for the hotfix will become available on all platforms. And then the goal is at 9 AM, which is 1700 UTC, that D2 will be brought back online and the hotfix will be playable, meaning that Witch Queen will be live. So bear all of that in mind, but they do say that players using the PS4 download of D2 will be required to download the associated PS4 compatibility packs before playing Witch Queen. And they point out that the PS4 download of D2 will be large, but players will have a smaller installation size once the download is complete, which should help improve the download and install of future PS4 patches. So just bear in mind, as always, it may require a little bit more time when it comes to PlayStation. But if you have any questions about the preload, time zones and stuff like that, drop them in the comment section and I'm sure we can help each other out. But next up, let's jump in and talk about some of the content for Witch Queen, as well as the reset content, and the next week in Destiny card says take back the light when Witch Queen releases, but also that we'll wage psionic warfare when Season of the Risen begins. And of course, the Throne World becomes available to all players. But for more standard reset stuff, we can see that Hashladun and the Scarlet Keep will be the featured Nightfall for the week. Of course, we don't know which weapons will be featured as the drops, outside of the fact that we do have a couple of reprised weapons in the Nightfall pool. Either way, that will of course be one of our sources for powerful and pinnacle gear in the first week, and we'll speak more about changes coming to Nightfalls in a moment. Next though, let's speak about a little bit of Witch Queen content, and when we go into the expansion, one of the first things we're going to do, of course, will be to dive into the Witch Queen campaign. And that campaign will also consist of a few rewards, including an introduction to crafting, where we'll make our own glaive. And it's understood that this is happening early in the campaign, so we'll get plenty of time to play around with stuff. But then there's also the legendary difficulty of the campaign, which should be accessible immediately. And as we've learned, completing all of the missions on legendary will grant players a new triumph, and that's required for the new Throne World title, as well as an exclusive emblem, and a set of gear 20 above the soft cap at 1520 power level. But additionally, 8 upgrade modules, new Witch Queen exotic armor, typically reserved for lost sectors, and exclusive Bungie rewards. So it'll totally be rewarding whether you dive immediately into Legend, or save that run for later in the week. They also point out that it scales, so if you want a solo Legend campaign, the difficulty will scale to 1 player, and players will be able to swap between Legendary and normal if that Legendary difficulty turns out to be a bit tough. Next though, a very brief update on Pinnacle reward sources. And in terms of power leveling, players will be able to reach the soft cap of 1500 by earning general gear through activity completions, chests and more. And once reaching that soft cap, players will need to earn powerful drops from vendor challenges and other objectives in the game. But then beyond 1550, the only upgrades that a player will find are from endgame activities that offer Pinnacle rewards. And they say there will be some adjustments to Pinnacle and powerful sources, so when we sign in we'll have to keep an eye on tooltips, and after completing the campaign, we'll be able to see what the general and Witch Queen associated Pinnacle and powerful reward sources are. Of course, there will also be rituals and pursuits to look at, so the new pursuit weapon for the season is the Reckless Endangerment Shotgun, and as far as we know, we'll be able to pick the quest up for this from either Vanguard, Crucible, or Gambit. But on top of this, general ritual playlist rewards have been updated, and will now grant ritual-specific gear, including weapon mods and armor. And they say Gambit, Crucible, and Vanguard are receiving updated armor rewards for the new expansion release. These share the same base appearance, but have slight differences in decals and coloring to represent each ritual. We can see those armor pieces right there. Of course, in the new season, we'll get a brand new artifact and a season pass track to follow. And for the Season Pass, Bungie say there are a few changes, and high stat seasonal armor has been reintroduced at ranks 57 and 87. But also that legendary engrams have been replaced with focused umbral engrams, and there are 5 in total, all focusing on different armor pieces. But they've also replaced the Season Pass emblem with a new sparrow. And they also say that weapon scrounger bonuses from the Season Pass now apply to both Season Pass legendary weapons and all activities at once. And that'll be the same for armor scrounger bonuses. And they finally say that they've additionally added a bunch of rewards such as Glimmer and legendary shards that have been consolidated to make room for that high stat armor, on top of a small amount of upgrade modules being added. So as always, we can expect some adjustments to the Season Pass, and we'll see all of those rewards when we sign in. But now let's mention Nightfalls, and as we said at the beginning, the first featured Nightfall for Witch Queen will be the Scarlet Keep. And they say they are adjusting modifiers that affect enemy damage, including enhancing boss attacks. They're being removed from Nightfall starting at Hero, and they've added a new style of burn called Acute, which will increase player damage taken from a specific element by 50% and increase player damage output done by 25%. And they also say they're moving the seasonal strike modifiers that were introduced from Season 15 from the Vanguard playlist to Nightfalls. There are unique buffs and boosts that aid you to lean into the combat themes of the season, and for Season 16, they will be themed to glaives and void usage, but these rotate weekly and appear on all Hero, Legend, and Master Nightfalls. On top of that, an updated version of the Duty Bound Auto Rifle and the Silicon Neuroma Sniper Rifle are going to be added into the Nightfall weapon rotation, so there'll be a couple of things to go and chase. Another thing we cover in weekly resets, of course, are the featured Lost Sectors, and we don't know exactly what they're going to be leading into launch, but they will still be able to reward new exotic armor for Witch Queen, and Bungie have previewed a lot of that. And on top of this, Bungie say there will now be a single daily Lost Sector which is featured, and that has both Legend and Master difficulties available at the same time, selectable at the entrance, and both difficulties will give the same exotic reward. So it will essentially be one featured Lost Sector and one featured armor piece drop per day instead of the 2. And on top of Lost Sectors, of course, we have an additional chance to earn the new exotic armor pieces from the Witch Queen Legend campaign when we complete the entire thing. But next, let's speak very briefly about Eververse. There will be an entirely new inventory that we won't really know about until launch. However, Bungie have revealed a new Universal Armor Ornament set, so this will be one of the main things featured throughout Season 16. But otherwise, week over week, I'll be sure to keep you posted on the new drops that we get. And of course, the only other things to bear in mind regarding content we have at the moment is that all seasonal content is going away, so Season of the Lost content, Shattered Realms, Astral Alignment, but also any of the content associated with Season of the Hunt, Chosen, and Splicer, as well as a few other things which they've outlined in the Destiny Content Vault breakdown for the year. So I'll link that below just in case you need the refresher. And the final bits of content, which should continue to cycle as they do right now as far as we know, include Vault of Glass. So going into the launch week for Witch Queen, the challenge mode there should be the only Oracle for you, of course, Oracle's challenge mode. And if you complete that on Legend difficulty, Praedyth's Revenge Time Lost will be the featured drop. Then there's also Europa. We're not sure how Pinnacle rewards may be adjusted there. It's likely that a lot of them will be moved to Throne World instead, but the Exo Challenge will be Simulation Survival, the Eclipse Zone featured in Eventide Ruins, and the featured Empire Hunt will be the Dark Priestess. Otherwise though, I'll have a lot of content to break down for you guys as we go into the expansion launch this week, so if you want to be kept up to date with everything related to the game, get subscribed to the channel and turn on notifications so I can keep you posted. Otherwise though, as always, I really appreciate you all tuning in. And of course, enjoy the launch of Witch Queen, guys. Hopefully the servers won't won't play us up too much, but as always, there are no guarantees on that front. However, for now, thanks as always for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.